Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Tego Cyber. We wanted to do a special announcement and talk to Shannon today and kind of pick her brain about this Colonial pipeline hack and see what she thinks about what exactly happened, how this could have been prevented, and so on. Shannon, are you ready to dive in?
Yeah, sure, Michael.
All right, let's start this off by, from your perspective, what exactly happened with this hack?
Right. Well, I think really for a lot of us in the cybersecurity industry, it was not a question of if an attack like this would ever happen, but rather when. The Biden administration, even about probably 2 or 3 weeks ago, announced a 100-day plan to shore up the cybersecurity of the electrical grid. Of course, pipelines wasn't included in that. It is now. But critical infrastructure and the cybersecurity of our critical infrastructure has been a concern for quite some time. It's it hasn't really happened that much in the United States, but if you take a look at other countries, let's take for instance the Ukraine. For a couple of years in a row, the power was taken down in parts of Ukraine by believed state-sponsored Russian attackers. That they would take down the power grid for a couple of weeks at a time around Christmas time, and so it just shows that this is real. It's not Hollywood. It's not make believe, but these kind of things can happen. And then you take a look also at what happened during the Super Bowl of an attacker got in through a remote desktop application into a water treatment plant. Fortunately, there was an employee who happened to see the mouse moving around on the screen and saw the attacker changing the chemical levels in the water.
Wow.
They say that there were some safeguards that would have prevented that from being released out to the public, but still, this attacker was able to get in and change the chemical levels in the drinking supply. It could have potentially been released out. So, I think it's been a concern for the cybersecurity industry and professionals within cybersecurity for quite some time, but I think now perhaps the administration as well as the general public is becoming more aware, which is a good thing.
How preventable was this? Was it something that was easily preventable? Now, when every time I picture governments and using technology, I just pictured them this on a tough book running Windows XP. So, like, was this an outdated issue? Do you think they had any real safeguards in place that were up to date with the world's current threats?
A lot of the critical infrastructure does run on older systems and outdated systems. I know as well some of the information that's coming out that Colonial Pipeline actually was looking for a cybersecurity manager. I think they had a job posting that went out about 2 months ago. So I think they were aware that they maybe had cybersecurity shortcomings and were looking to fill those gaps, but just didn't get in
Yeah.
before this dark side ransomware group came in. And one of the interesting things too about this incident is that DarkSide, the ransomware group that's behind the attack, actually came out and said, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! It wasn't our fault. We didn't mean for this to happen. We're not
Oh, wow.
political. We're not looking at causing chaos. We're just in it for the money." And it was one of our affiliates, and it's kind of funny now that they're saying we'll do a better job at vetting the affiliates of our ransomware group now so that we don't have these people going out and causing chaos. So
Okay.
only the finest cyber
Yeah.
criminals need
Yeah.
apply.
It's some sort of cyber mafia operating on some some moral
Yeah,
basis or something. Interesting.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild. I mean, it kind of seems like someone actually saw the listing then for the like, oh, they need a cybersecurity officer. They probably don't have very good cybersecurity. Then maybe we should just kind of wing something together before they get one in or something.
Right. And they'll do that. And, one of the things that people think about cybersecurity is that a cyber criminal will say, I want to attack Michael. I'm going to go attack Michael.
Jeez, no.
Whereas really what they do is they'll go out and they'll have a tool that will go and say, scan the internet for open remote desktop connections. Who's out there that's vulnerable? Who can I attack? And
Yeah.
they'll find somebody that's out there and they'll go probe it and see well, is this a worthwhile target? And if they see that it could be something of interest or it could bring them in a payday, then they might attack that. But
Hmm.
there's a bit of randomness to cyber attacks.
Yeah.
And there's also some not so random. I mean, the cyber criminals also will, target specific companies either because of politics or state-sponsored, geopolitical issues or something
Yeah.
like that. But for a lot of these, we call them script kiddies or low-level cyber criminals, it's more like, who can I attack and possibly take advantage of?
All right. So then, you think, is this going to become a trend now that this was so successful? Because, and obviously there was a huge social impact too, where you had
Mhm.
people freaking out and going and filling up cans of gas, like, or bags of gas or trash cans full of gas. People were kind of filling up everything. Do you think this is something that the US is going to see more and more? Or do you think this was a harsh lesson learned and now they're going to get super serious about the cybersecurity?
I think this was a wake up call, and we'll see more attention and more seriousness around cybersecurity of critical infrastructure. Because, like I said, before a lot of people in the industry, cybersecurity professionals were concerned about it and kind of raising the flag and saying, "Yo, we need to pay attention to this." And people
Yeah.
were like, nothing's happened. That's just fiction. Your imagination. But now, people are aware of the consequences of these type of actions. So I think we'll see the general public getting behind some of these cybersecurity initiatives, and also spending money on shoring up the cybersecurity, because budget has always been a concern when it comes to cybersecurity. And you'll see that as well with, let's say, the healthcare industry or
Yeah.
even education. Both of those industries have been targeted very heavily by ransomware through the pandemic, especially when the schools went virtual. We saw this whole rash of cyber attacks and ransomware attacks hitting schools on the opening weeks of virtual schooling that shut down school districts all over the US and the UK, and took basically learning offline for students.
Yeah. Yeah. There's unfortunately a tale as old as time where experts say, hey guys, we got a serious problem here. And everybody
Hmm.
avoids it until it's too late, whether it be from pandemic or the economy back in 2007 and such. So yeah, guys, I guess the lesson at the end of the day is listen to the experts. I mean, they're putting their lives towards it for a reason. But Shannon, thank you for coming on. Thank you for shedding light on this. Hopefully a lot of people feel more calm and understand, and probably not the best decision to go out and buy like 500 gallons of gasoline right now. It'll all work
Right.
out. As you had said, the ransom seems to have already been paid and we're good to go. So, Shannon,
Yes.
thank you so much again. And I hope you have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Michael. You too.